Average Dude has something to say about...
Everybody, welcome back. As I said before, I was going to talk about this situation called Maladaptive Daydreaming Disorder more in the next couple of videos. That's where people, it's excessive daydreaming. People who just simply cannot, they daydream a lot more than normal, and they have such a hard time, or they just simply cannot control. It's just the control is not there, or they have a very, very hard time controlling it. It can be a burden. It can be quite the burden, or it can be the blessing. It seems to go either way. But these are the people that we've all seen them. They tend to excuse themselves, or so that they can go have a little, get a breath of fresh air, and then they take a long time, and then they can, "Are you okay?" And they were distracted by a daydream. You probably saw them muttering while they're coming out of the bathroom, and instead of coming back to the party where everybody else is, and then they, make an excuse, or, try to explain away, trying to save face, because it's humiliating. And, the people that are in the cars with us while we're going on trips, and you're trying to talk to them, and then you keep trying to talk to them, and they're probably thinking, "Damn it, stop interrupting my daydream." And you can tell that they're getting irritated with you, and they don't want to. Yeah, and then you're bringing them back into the real world, and you're interrupting the daydream. And it's got to be really frustrating for them as they're trying to finish and just resolve whatever thought process that they have going on. But they daydream a lot more, and they have a very hard time coming back out of it, and waste a whole lot of their lives daydreaming, more so than because everybody daydreams. These people daydream a lot more. This particular video that I am making is a message to the normies out there, the normal people, the people that don't get this. There's a lot who think. I think it's silly that they're putting a label on this. Say, come on! Ladies and gentlemen, we've all seen these people. We've all known them growing up. We've all seen these individuals taking a walk down the street, muttering in thin air, prior to the days of Bluetooth. And you can tell that they didn't have a headset or anything. You knew that they weren't talking to anybody. They were talking to thin air. They were looking up at thin air. We've always known that these people exist, and yet, hey, who's got the bigger problem? The excessive daydreamers, or everybody else that refuses to acknowledge that they're so... Have you noticed? We don't talk about it. It reminds me of the third Austin Powers movie where... Oh, good Lord. Fred Savage, his character had a big old mole on his face, a ridiculously huge mole, and nobody was supposed to talk about the mole. You're supposed to ignore it. And Austin had such a problem with it, and so Fred Savage's character said, "You know what, just get it out. Talk about it," because he knew. And so Austin, who's like, "Mole, mole, 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 moly, moly, mole. We're not supposed to talk about the mole." Right there. We are not supposed to talk about the mole. Have you noticed that we're not supposed to talk about the excessive daydreamers that we know exist? And how childish and how just flat out bizarre is that? Who has the bigger problem? The rest of us who can't even acknowledge that this exists. That's really sad. And I think it's time, way past time, that we talk about it. Because the maladaptive daydreamers, the ones who go through this, are probably so scared they don't want to come out because they've been told their entire lives, head out of the clouds, feet on the ground, head out of the clouds, feet on the ground, stop your daydreaming, don't be wishy-washy, feet on the ground, live in the real world. Okay, and they were probably made fun of as kids when their peers saw them, ha, you're a weirdo, and that kind of thing. And if they ever wanted to have friends, they had to learn to control it, or at least not do it in front of the people. Like when they hit middle school or junior high, that was their second chance to start over, because it's too late for the people that you went to grade school with. They already know, and they think you're weird. But then when it comes to making new friends or going to a new school, you get to start all over again. Some people never learn to even control it at that point. And just, feel bad for these people, and they're probably afraid to ever confide in their own friends in real life. So, but doggone it, regular, normal people who don't identify with this, they have to suck it up and pretend. That this is toxic. This is not good for anybody to ignore that it exists. It's okay. This ridiculously huge elephant in the room that we're all pretending doesn't exist, it's not good for anybody, the maladaptive daydreamers or the normies. It's okay to discuss it, okay? You don't have to be jerks about it and give these people a hard time, but you can talk about it. You can have questions about it. Just, okay? Let's just talk about it. These people, what it all boils down to, they daydream to the point where they have a hard, they just can't control it, like you or the rest. Okay, they have a hard time controlling it. They're not weirdos. They're not schizophrenic. It's possible to have two situations going on. That's like saying that, like a headache. Okay, it's possible to have a headache and have the runs, diarrhea, and the two are not related to each other, okay? It's possible to have two physical situations. Then it's also possible to have two situations like maladaptive daydreaming disorder and schizophrenia or anything like that, but do not confuse the two. And there are those that are already doing it. Maladaptive daydreamers know the difference between reality and fantasy. They don't confuse the two unless they have something else going on that they have to deal with and feel sorry, like schizophrenia, and feel sorry for those people having a double situation to have to work through in their lives. But maladaptive daydreaming disorder in and of itself, they get it. Okay, they just have trouble, and sometimes they'll mutter and talk out loud. They'll pace back and forth or tap with their, like if their pencil or pen, some type of repetitive movement. We've all seen this, and it's very common. But it's nothing to be alarmed about. They're not sociopaths necessarily, so you don't have to be weirded out. But bottom line is, normal people, you can talk about it. Ask about it. You don't have to pretend anymore that you're not noticing these things. Take a lesson from that third Austin Powers movie. It is okay to acknowledge that it's there. Everybody, take care. The next video I'm going to do is a message to the maladaptive daydreamers themselves.